The purpose of this custody hearing is to determine what is best for the child, John Reed Ryan. Now, I will hear all the relevant testimony and then render a decision with as little delay as possible. In order to get out all the facts as quickly and as fully as we can, our procedures here are a little more relaxed than they would be in a courtroom. However, we're not totally unstructured. I'll question both sides thoroughly, and then counsel will have a chance to cross-examine. Now, I must tell you, you, Mr. Ryan, you, Mrs. Ryan, this. Your testimony here will be given under oath, so all the other witnesses will also be under oath. That means that the obligation to answer truthfully is just as serious as it is in a proper trial. Now, you've heard me say already, and you'll hear me say again, that our focus here is on the child, not on the parents. So we don't tolerate any emotional displays or any outbursts. Is that clear?
It is, Your Honor.
Mr. Ryan, I've been told that your attorney is not able to be here today, but that you're prepared to go on anyway?
Yes, Your Honor. I realize this is highly irregular, but I prefer to represent myself than delay this further. My attorney is unable to be here today because she's been hospitalized as a result of injuries caused by my wife.
Miss Coleridge fell over a tricycle, as you very well know.
Having been pushed by Mrs. Ryan.
Miss Burney?
That is how the accident happened, Your Honor, but the fact remains that Mr. Ryan's giving two sophisticated
Miss Burney,
presentations is...
I think in view of the circumstances that make this unusual procedure necessary, you and your client have little cause to complain.
I'd like to explain further, sir, that Miss Coleridge is the woman I plan to marry once my divorce becomes final.
I see. Well, I've read the legal briefs and the memoranda of law containing the evidence, so I would think that our opening remarks might be kept brief. Mr. Ryan, since you have initiated this action, will you begin?
Mrs. Ryan and I were married 4 years before our child was born. He's now 2 years old. During these years, I've seen a pattern of emotional instability in my wife, and it's become progressively worse. At this point, the child, John Reed Ryan, is no longer safe in her custody. Now, I knew I was marrying a vulnerable woman. What I didn't realize was her intense, almost frightening need for my full attention. During the early years of our marriage, I was a policeman during the day and a law student at night. By the time I graduated from law school, it became apparent that my wife had changed from an engaging, if dependent young woman into a helpless, demanding little girl who cried over my career and over the time that I couldn't give her.
You mean the time that you were spending in bed with your Coleridge?
That will do, Mrs. Ryan.
Miss Coleridge was a law school professor and an old family friend. We fell in love. Delia found out about our affair, and 9 months later, John Reed Ryan was born. When I discovered Delia was pregnant, I stopped seeing Miss Coleridge. I wanted our child very much. I wanted to make a good home for him. I tried. But unfortunately, the baby only brought out my wife's childish instincts. She spent a lot of time curled up in the middle of her bed. She neglected little John. She couldn't even keep him clean. So my mother and my sisters began giving her a hand. My parents, by the way, now have primary responsibility for the everyday care of my son. But when this divorce is final, and when Delia is no longer living with my parents, I have good reason to believe that she'll do more than just ignore little John. I'm afraid she may be a danger to him. In the last year and a half, there have been 3 incidents of violent, unstable behavior on my wife's part. I'll detail them under your questioning, Your Honor. To the extent that I have contributed to my wife's emotional problems, I'm very sorry. And I'm sure that she does love our child. But for his sake, I must petition for his custody.
It is my recommendation that Mr. Jax be granted sole custody.
You will not get my daughter.
This week,
Last chance, share custody with Carly. Or what? I am gonna leave you begging for mercy.
Sonny takes extreme measures.
You're gonna be done.
Watch General Hospital weekdays on ABC and weeknights at 10 on SoapNet.
Who's coming and who's going? SoapNet has a status update on your favorite stars. On General Hospital, Ingo Rademacher and Vanessa Marcel Giovinazzo say so long to poor Charles.
Wow.
And Constance Towers is back as troublemaker Helena.
It's true.
On One Life to Live, Tony Award-winning actress LaShawns debuts as Yvette, while Tuck Watkins returns as David Vickers.
What do you think about that?
And on All My Children, Josh Duhamel, Eva LaRue, and Torsten Kay take one more trip to Pine Valley.
I'm here to stay.
Keep up with the latest status updates on SoapNet and ABC.com.
You know how it is. You look in the mirror one day and you go, how am I going to lose this weight? eDiet's meal delivery from ediets.com. It's the easiest, smartest, most delicious way to eat great and finally lose the weight. I know you're thinking, eat great and lose weight? Really? Really.
You'll love the food. There's no MSG, no fake sugars.
The food tastes fantastic. It's awesome. Very delicious.
It tastes wonderful.
Call now or go to ediets.com. Choose from over 100 fresh prepared meals, not dehydrated diet food, but really delicious food. eDiets will deliver your favorite meals and snacks in a chill fresh container.
All you have to do is relax, enjoy, and eat great. All the way to slim.
I lost 115 pounds.
65 pounds.
25 pounds.
94 pounds.
Along the way, eDiets.com gives you real support.
Terrific online tools, access to registered dietitians and trainers, and friends who care about your success.
They're there with you to hold your hand, and they really care.
Truthfully, I like everything about eDiets.
I've lost 30 pounds. All of a sudden, I find myself a changed person.
Hey, I made it to 50 pounds, and look at me now, I'm 60 pounds.
Millions of people have turned eDiets.com to lose the weight. Now it's your turn.
Call or go to ediets.com and sign up for 7 full days of meals, 3 meals per day, fresh prepared just for you, plus snacks. So don't wait. Join eDiets. Eat great food and lose weight fast.
I believe that eDiets can change people's lives.
My husband will often say, "You're the hot wife." That's just boosted my confidence a lot.
eDiets has changed my life forever.
Call to find out how you can get 1 week of meals absolutely free. That's right. 1 week of fresh prepared food, 1 week of weight loss, 1 week of success, free.
Free? What are you waiting for? Call or go online to get started now.
Call 1-800-279-1604 or visit ediets.com now.
Jill? I'm here. Can you talk to me?
Faith?
I was hoping you were ready to wake up.
There are 2 of you.
It's double vision. Don't worry about it. It'll go away. Lie very still. And don't move your head.
Don't want to. What happened?
You've got a little concussion. It's all going to heal. In a few days, you'll be begging me to get you out of here.
Hospital?
Yeah. Delia pushed you, do you remember?
Falling. A tricycle. I saw the desk, but I couldn't stop myself.
Jill, listen to me.
Sleep.
Not yet. Pat examined you in the emergency room. He knows that you're pregnant.
Oh, God.
He came to me about it, and Frank overheard us. Frank thinks the baby's his. Oh, honey, don't. I'll handle everything for you. Just tell me what to do.
Maeve and Johnny?
Yeah, Frank told them.
Delia?
No. Frank was afraid it would only complicate matters at the custody hearing.
Yes. Mustn't come out there. Faith. The hearing, it's tomorrow. I have to be there.
Jill, you fell yesterday. You've been unconscious since then. The hearing's going on right now.
Frank.
Should I tell him that Seneca's the father?
No. No. I have to be careful. Very careful, and maybe he'll understand.
How is she?
awake as of the last few minutes.
Oh, my friend, what if you have to say for yourself?
Now, you've spoken of an emerging pattern of instability in your wife, Mr. Ryan. I'd like to explain that more fully, starting with the time of John's birth.
Well, while she was pregnant, Delia couldn't wait to start taking care of the baby. But once he was born, she couldn't even get up the energy to give him a bottle. I mean, often I thought it was just a question of getting her energy back. But months passed, and I kept coming home to dirty diapers tossed in the bathtub and the baby asleep with those little sobs, which meant he'd cried till he became exhausted. Delia would be in bed as well, in about the same condition as little John.
You feel that this behavior went well beyond carelessness or laziness?
I wasn't sure for a while. Frankly, I didn't want to think about Delia's behaving more like little John's sibling than his mother. For instance, the moment I'd start playing with him, she'd immediately announce that it was his bedtime. I couldn't believe that she was jealous of the attention I gave to our own child. Later on, I couldn't believe that she could be quite that violent.
What about these episodes of violence?
Well, they both began in anger. Delia was in a blind rage when she pushed me, and I fell down a steep flight of stairs. She claims that she didn't mean to hurt me, but the fact is she left me for dead and went home to my parents, not to get help, but to be comforted, because she was upset. She lied about the reason why. Fortunately, someone found me, and the doctors saved my life. Yesterday, Delia pushed Miss Coleridge in virtually identical circumstances. Again, she claimed she didn't mean any harm.
Has Mrs. Ryan ever been violent or abusive toward the child?
No, but she's been dangerously negligent on one occasion.
Oh, what was that?
Well, just a few months ago, I found her in an adulterous situation and decided for myself the marriage was over. Delia's reaction to this was to run away in the middle of the night with little John, take a hotel room, and threaten to jump out of a hotel window. She claims that she wasn't really going to jump, but she made a series of hysterical phone calls home which convinced me that she would. So, she spent several hours out on the windowsill, and while she was out there, 10 stories up, little John was inside the hotel room, sitting on the bed very near the open window. Thank God he didn't decide to go looking for his mother. And thank God she didn't decide to jump or fall. Instead, she went to a hospital for psychiatric observation.
You mentioned a psychiatrist's report in your brief.
Yes, the doctor recommended that Delia not be given sole custody of little John because she was too unstable.
I'll have to see that report. That is, if you have no objections, Miss Burney.
None, Your Honor. No point trying to conceal it.
Now, are there any instances of John's safety being forgotten or neglected while he was in his mother's care? Accidents, for instance?
Yes, last winter he was burned badly. Some hot coffee was spilled on him. Delia claims that he reached for it before she could grab him. But she told me 2 versions of this story, and so I, frankly, Your Honor, don't really know the truth of the matter, except I do know that little John shouldn't be entrusted to her.
Wait a minute, Your Honor. This really isn't fair. I mean, my husband is making it like I'm a crazy person.
Please,
saying that
Mrs.
the truth
Ryan,
of it is...
Mrs. Ryan, your attorney will plead your case at the proper time. Please believe me, these outbursts are just making her work harder.
I'm sorry, I'll be quiet.
Miss Burney, you may cross-examine.
I believe you've known Mrs. Ryan since childhood. Would you say she's always demonstrated a particular need for emotional support?
Yes, she has.
When you married her, perhaps this was part of her charm.
Possibly, but she wasn't as neurotically dependent then.
She leaned on you, and you considered her vulnerable but not unstable.
That's right.
How would you characterize your first year of marriage?
We made a good adjustment. Very good in some ways.
And this was before you began staying out 4 and 5 times a week.
It was before I took on a full schedule at law school,
And before
yes.
you began seeing Miss Coleridge.
Yes.
And before Mrs. Ryan showed signs of what you call emotional instability.
Oh, there were signs, but I didn't take them seriously.
I see. What was Mrs. Ryan's reaction when she first discovered your affair? Did she confront you violently?
Not right away.
Isn't it true that she suffered in silence for at least 2 years?
At which point, she pushed me down a flight of stairs.
Why did she finally strike out at you?
Because I told her I was leaving her for Miss Coleridge.
Before your son was even a year old.
I'd have petitioned for his custody then, too.
But you didn't attempt that. Instead, you recuperated from your accident and decided to give your marriage another try. Evidently, you did not yet consider your wife dangerously unstable or negligent of her child.
I was worried enough to make sure that my parents kept a close watch on little John. We moved in with them then.
What sort of disposition does little John have?
It's wonderful.
Is he ill at ease with his mother?
No.
When he spilled coffee on himself, who poured cold water on the burn and then rushed him to the emergency room?
Delia handled that very well.
Does she resent your parents' involvement with their grandchild, or does she encourage it?
No, she encourages it to the extreme.
Mr. Ryan, you've testified that your wife loves her child. Obviously, she knows and does what's good for him. Why shouldn't he be with her?
Because she's already injured 2 people. And I'm afraid little John may be next in line.
Would you be less fearful if Mrs. Ryan agreed to grant you the divorce you want so much?
I don't go in for blackmail, Miss Bernie. If Delia were to give me a divorce tomorrow, I'd still continue my fight for his custody.
So that Miss Coleridge could raise him properly.
That's exactly right.
Will she give up her career in order to learn how to be a mother?
No. We would hope to hire Mrs. Shaw, little John's favorite babysitter, but more important, we would provide a stable, peaceful home for him. Miss Coleridge and I love each other deeply, Your Honor. We have wanted to be married for many years. Neither of us has had any other romantic involvement.
He has, with me.
My son needs consistent, predictable adults who will love him and help him to grow in the right direction. His mother would have normal visitation rights, but Miss Coleridge is the woman who should assume responsibility for him.
His fiancée was murdered.
Sorry about your loss.
This week,
Thanks to Todd Manning, Jack will never have to pay for what he did.
Rex wants payback.
By the time I'm done, Jack will know how it feels to lose his mother, and Todd will know how it feels to lose his wife. Then we'll be even.
Watch One Life to Live, weekdays on ABC and weeknights at 9 on SoapNet.
It's the way you bring out the sun. It's the way you make it all fun.
Know who makes the day sunny? My mom and Sunny D. I love the taste. Mom loves the vitamin C. And now it has 40% fewer calories than most regular soda brands. Sunny D.
Make today a sunny day.
Drink up and download free music. Find out more at sunnyd.com.
Want truly better hair color? It's all inside this box. Only new Garnier Nutrice nourishes with 1, 2, 3 essential fruit oils. Avocado plus shea and olive. Triple nourished hair. Because nourished hair means better color. Color that's richer, more radiant, incredibly silky. And every last gray disappears. For nourished hair, better color. It's right inside this box. All new Garnier Nutrice. Garnier. Take care.
This summer, the party's on SoapNet.
We have a party to rock.
You'll never take over my life.
Nothing is going to change how I feel about you.
I love Can't Die, baby.
Oh, it is so on.
What? Shut up! And you won't believe who's coming.
You're back.
This is one summer shindig you don't want to miss.
I am ready to have the summer of my life.
Only on SoapNet.
Down.
Can't say much of anything. I fell. I hurt.
Jill, I'm so sorry
You know, don't you?
that you're pregnant.
I've been waiting to tell you, Seneca.
Yeah, till after the hearing, I figured that was the mystery news you had for me.
Big mystery.
Faith, I'd like to have a minute with her alone.
Well, maybe she's talked enough for today.
No. It's all right, really. It's okay.
Okay. I'll see you later.
Thank you. You don't have to say anything. I just want to let you know that I understand why you've been upset with me. You've been turning me down and trying to turn me off, and I just kept running right after you. Forgive me if I made you miserable.
Seneca.
Believe me, from now on, the pursuit is off. You've chosen Frank. You're having his baby, and, I I accept the decision.
You don't understand.
What?
The baby.
What about the baby?
It didn't get hurt when I fell.
Oh, no. You know that I would tell you if anything was wrong. Now, don't you worry.
Worried about you.
Be all right. I just need to go off someplace and lick my wounds a little bit. No, I am going to fall out of love with you and let you dream about Frank, all right?
You're not going away.
Not physically, just emotionally.
Don't.
Don't what?
Don't go away.
Jillian.
Seneca. Please, not yet. Be my friend a little while longer.
I am your friend, but you don't want me hanging around. You belong to Frank. Now, I really should start looking around for some other lady to pursue.
Stay with me. Seneca, stay.
Hey, I'm here now, and you gotta stop crying. You gotta be quiet, or the pain's gonna get worse.
Promise me.
Don't move.
First, tell me that nothing has changed. Promise me.
Of course I'll promise. Nothing's changed. It won't go away.
Thank you.
Next, spend some time in Genoa City with the Young and the Restless. Later, see who's stirring up trouble in Pine Valley on All My Children, only on SoapNet. A surprise engagement.
EJ asked me to marry him.
That Nicole will set out to destroy.
You got a secret. I want to find out what it is.
That is, if Sammy doesn't beat her to the punch.
Son of a bitch! You are going to pay!
Watch Days of Our Lives weeknights at 6 and 11 on SoapNet.
The View is back with all new shows. This week, ABC's Diane Sawyer on her interview with J.C. Dugard. Plus, Sarah Palin's daughter Bristol dishes to The View on her juicy new book. And the best hot topics on daytime television. This week on All New Views on ABC.
Your period lasts longer than a day. So do the cramps, bloating, fatigue, head, and body aches. You need Midol Complete with 3 ingredients that stop all these menstrual symptoms every day of your period. Don't just get through your period, Midolize it.
At Cheez-It, we expect a lot from our cheese.
Hello.
Hello.
How are you?
How are you?
Are you mocking me?
Are you mocking me?
Well, it sounded like you were... Now that you're repeating everything that I say. Okay. We made some progress yesterday.
Click, check, click. We take the time for our cheese to mature before we bake it into every delicious cracker. Because at Cheez-It, real cheese matters.
This top stylist tested new Suave Professional's Rosemary Mint versus Aveda.
I love the fragrance of rosemary mint. Her hair is very smooth, shiny. I can't tell the difference.
New Suave Professionals, reformulated to work as well as top salon brands.
People are talking about General Hospital's Sean Butler. Patricia Rich posted on Facebook, he is a good-looking bad boy with a good side. I'm really digging this one. Elizabeth Cross agrees. Oh yes, he is a sexy man. Suki Williams-Ellis adds, I trust my eyes when I look at him, and they like what they see. Judy McCoy says, good choice, GH. And Kathleen Hahn sums it up, so damn hot. People are talking about General Hospital, weekdays on ABC and weeknights at 10 on SoapNet. Want more of your favorite soaps?
That's great.
Log on to abc.com/daytime. Watch current full episodes of All My Children, General Hospital, and One Life to Live.
Online critics love it.
Plus, get exclusive sneak peeks of what's coming up next.
Sounds like a thumbs up to me.
Connect with other fans to discuss what's on your mind.
I always want to hear what you have to say.
And check out the 101 galleries to get an intimate look at the history of your favorite characters.
That's the best news I've heard all day.
Find it all now at abc.com/daytime. We asked Bradford Anderson to name all the Spinelli nicknames he could remember. Go.
Stone Cold Mr. Serpacino-esque one, Maximista, Blonde One, Original Blonde One, Prince Pectoral, Big Daddy Stone Cold, the Goddess, the Divine One, bad blonde one, the demented one, the Valkyrie, the brusque lady of justice. I could be here for literally 3 days, probably.
See who Spinelli will nickname next on General Hospital. Weekdays on ABC and weeknights at 10 on SoapNet.
You see, I think Delia tends to go to extremes with the baby. I mean, half the time she's leaving him with any one of us who'll take him or forgetting his bedtime till my wife bathes him and puts him down. And then the other half, I mean, she showers him with attention. She's given to these wild bursts of enthusiasm, and they die away in 2 minutes, but of course they leave the baby all charged up for 2 days.
Could you cite a specific instance of this excessive attention?
Yeah, sure. Now, Halloween, Delia goes out and buys 8 real pumpkins, a couple of chocolate ones, a mask, and a lot of other things, to make the baby feel happy, you know.
Yeah, the caseworker's report shows that Mrs. Ryan intended to carve pumpkins with her son. You don't consider that a worthwhile activity?
Well, sure I do. I mean, but she never let the baby anywhere near the pumpkins. She put him into his room with a candy one, and then she stayed out there and played with the jack-o'-lanterns. And after she'd made a proper mess, she turned the carving over to her brother. And he finished the carving, and she went out in the streets to look at the kids in their costumes, and she never took the baby with her. And as far as I know, she never even let him play with the mask for fear he'd get it dirty.
All right, Miss Bernie, your witness.
Thank you, Your Honor. Frank is your oldest son and your first child, is that correct?
Yeah, first of 7. 2 died in infancy.
You must be very proud of him.
I am, and for good reason. Aside from being my firstborn, Frank has always done his best.
In your mind, I suppose he can do no wrong.
No, I know better than that. Frank had a love affair when he was married. I can't excuse that. Now he's hoping to get a divorce so he can remarry. Which disturbs me very much because the church will never recognize that second marriage is valid. But you love your children. You want the best for them. You can't live their lives for them. They have to make their own mistakes like everybody else.
Traditionally, isn't it a mistake to take a child away from its mother?
There's a stronger tradition, Miss Burney. It says protect the child from harm. See, I think it's a mistake to leave the baby in Delia's care. It's a bad mistake.
Because your son would be a better parent?
No, because you never know what Delia will take it into her head to do with little John.
You'd rather see him with your son and Miss Coleridge in spite of the fact that your religion will always see their relationship as sinful?
Little John needs a good, solid home. Right or wrong. Frank and Jill will give him that. Delia can't.
Thank you, Mr. Ryan. No more questions, Your Honor.
All right, we'll adjourn for today and resume tomorrow morning at 10 o'clock.
Frank, why were you so mean to me?
Now, come on, let's not start this now.
Look, I love you. And sometimes I wish that we could get back together again. We had some very good moments. I don't know how you could take 7 years and you sum it up in 3 of the worst moments of my life.
We'll go if you're ready, Mrs. Ryan.
No, I need a minute more, please. Look, I sat here and I listened to you and I just couldn't believe it. But you know something? You'll never be able to take my baby away from me because I'm his mother and I always will be. It doesn't matter where he lives or how many miles we're separated from each other. He'll always be with me in spirit. Always.
In Landview, rules were meant to be broken, and its residents will stop at nothing to get their way. Catch all the Landview shenanigans on an all-new episode of One Life to Live, weeknights at 9 on SoapNet.